Hey everybody, I am Pops, and welcome to another comic book review. Superman 2, and yes, Superman 3 is dropping like right now. So I think it drops today. So I will definitely be getting you the Superman 3 review, actually, probably as early as next week. I want to do a follow-up because I really did enjoy the first issue. I actually thought they got off to a pretty good start, and it was an interesting way of us sort of like jumping back into a book that we can kind of like go on from. Right, they're doing this Dawn of DC thing. They're kind of finding a way, they're bringing in some different creators to do some interesting things to kind of move forward with. And I thought issue number one was pretty good. I thought Joshua Williamson did a fine job. Jamal Campbell's art was fine. It felt very much like a classic Superman take. It was a lot of fun. It was also grounded in the world that they want, where John Kent, Lois is running the Daily Planet, Lex is in jail, and LexCorp has been transformed into Supercore, right? So everything is happening, and then Parasite is let loose. Like Parasite is running rampant. There's like these clones of him, and that's kind of how we pick the story up of how things kind of move along. So this is the first few samples of some pages here. You can see the different clones are attacking him, sucking him dry, pulling all the energy out of him, and then finally he pushes back. Again, the great primary colors that explode out from him, and you see the movement. I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, he's like trying to get his feel on everything, why everything is so dark. As I've never seen Metropolis this dark before. His eyes light up, and then, of course, he shines up the sky, and you can see there's just clones everywhere. Some we can see in the foreground, right? We can see a lot more detail here, and then, of course, in the shadows, you see there are just literally hundreds of them, just riddled everywhere, right? So his beacon is all the way across over there. So I was like, "Oh gosh, the purple. No purple. Don't do it. No, 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 no." Okay. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's chapter 2. It says, "When the evil Lex Luthor made it his mission to improve Superman, the Man of Steel was suspicious. The incarcerated billionaire went so far as to retitle his company Supercore and place his hated rival in charge. But before Superman could get to the bottom of Lex's scheme, disaster was unleashed upon the city, and now Metropolis is in the grips of the parasite." Right? Okay. And then there's like, have you gone mad? And you have basically this group of people who are kind of being introduced. And it is, quote, the point of the so called secret order of mad scientists. Because I never agreed to that name. It's demeaning. And then it's like this back and forth about being homicidal geniuses. So you have this group of individuals. The one is called Graft, and then you have the other one who is cutting up Bizarro, doing a surgery on him, right? That's Dr. Farm, right? So Dr. Farm whispers in his ear. Look how strange he looks. Is this sort of like, I don't want to say like animal. I don't know. Is he supposed to be a bisexual? I don't know. He's just like, it just literally looks like something out of like, David Bowie, Freddie Mercury design, just strange and interesting. And you have a bigger pullback so you can see Dr. Farm working on Bizarro here. And there's a quick little story about it doesn't use his voice, and then it's like it involved killing their mother, that kind of thing, right? Let's see. Then you cut over to Supercore and you have like this ad campaign thing that's running on one of the windows before it's broken. And this is where you get a shot to realize that yeah, the parasites are attacking Supercore, and you have this fight back, right? Miss Graves is her name. She's using some of their tech to fight them off, and it's like hungry, 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 and they're all just kind of attacking. And then Superman does arrive with a great, thunderous crash, and then we cut away to Lex, and Lex isn't having it, right? Lex is like, "Wait a minute, this is evolving again. Like, it's wait, what's happening?" So he's really not in total control of everything. And then they have this weird cut to Live Wire, and you're like, because she was in the last issue as well, briefly, and then we're back to Supercore, right? And he's having this brief communication where he can hear them talking and they can hear him, where he's talking to John and Kara, Superboy and Supergirl, who are really far away, fighting things off with the other Superman. Here's Steel in the background. don't know how I felt about all this part. It just felt, I don't know. I don't know. It felt kind of awkward because everything has been very centered around him, and the fact that he could reach out to them seems like an easy way to skirt having the stakes that we were kind of working towards. And then out of the blue, this happens. Yeah, you're not seeing anything fake here, folks. Out of the blue, uh, yeah. What is happening? Yeah. She says, "You were gone for a spell, darling. Metropolis was a way of creating its heroes when it needs to." And here's the close up. It's like, so she has like these ghost guns pointed at him. She's wearing like this shiny white Zorro looking, Lady Rawhide looking costume and hat with a little moon crescent right here. And then it's about um, this little story about Metropolis Nights Are Haunted. The legend of Marilyn Moonlight rides again. And I'm like, rides again? So they're introducing this new character, Marilyn Moonlight, out of nowhere. And her sole purpose is to do this, light up. I guess this is a flashback to her. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The entire purpose is this scene. She's introduced, and the moonlight powers him up. And see, Luthor, this is Luthor's thoughts that he hasn't gotten there yet because he hears Luthor talking out loud. And it doesn't matter because he's powered up now. So he's there looking for Lois. And that was all Marilyn Moonlight was for. Marilyn Moonlight was just dropped in. She has this reason, and she gives him some powers and moves along. That's it. We interrupt our Superman comic book for a character to be introduced who will, for no reason that we understand, power him up when he needed to be powered up. Then Luther is losing his mind because Luther had a plan. He's not in total control of everything. Superman is there looking for Lois, and of course, there's parasites everywhere. And then it's like Lois Parasite. So Lois Parasite attacks, and at the end, he's using his frost breath. He's using his X-ray vision. He's kind of getting a scale of what's happening. John and Kara are having a hard time with them, and they realize it's modifying, it's evolving, and the parasites have evolved. And yeah, he is. We close the book out with this thing of like, is he turning into a parasite as well? And that's how it ends. This actually wasn't bad, except for Marilyn Moonlight. Like, why did we have to have Marilyn? It's supposed to be Marilyn Moonlight, but it's obviously like a different raced female version of Moon Knight with a ghost horse and ghost guns. And it's like Zorro, Lady Rawhide meets Moon Knight. And this is what we get. And just like she just shows up, powers up Superman, and then leaves. And I presume she's going to matter or be tied to something later on. I don't know. And I don't really care at this point. I thought it was so abrupt and stupid and contrived. I hated all of that. She didn't even need to be in the book. Why didn't you just power him up some other way? Why didn't he just realize after seeing all of the parasites everywhere, instead of going off and looking for Lois, he only needs a few seconds and just fly to the sun or something and power up and then come back? I don't know. There had to be something. I don't know. I thought it was terrible. I hated that part. I'm okay to go on to see issue number 3 because I thought everything else is fine. I like the fact that Luther is pulling strings but can't keep control of things. I like that a lot. And I like the fact that they did a pretty good job of trying to throw some twists at us with it affecting Lois and even possibly Superman himself. So all that was good. So that's my take on it. If you guys are reading this, let me know. Issue 3 is going to drop, so I'm going to try to squeeze that out and get that to you as soon as possible as well. Very, very good so far. Not terrible. That's how I'm going to go. Pretty good. I'm Pops. Hello.